For the past few weeks, a new phrase has been circulating widely on Chinese social media, the American kill line. At first glance, it sounds dramatic, even exaggerated, but the more people dig into it, the more it reveals a very real economic phenomenon in the United States, one that actually already has a formal name. That name is ALICE, which stands for Asset Limited, Income Constrained, Employed. And what makes this discussion especially interesting is not just what it says about the US, but why it has struck such a nerve here in China. ALICE refers to people who are working, often full-time, sometimes holding multiple jobs, yet still cannot afford basic necessities. These are not unemployed people. These are not people living on the streets. They earn above the official US poverty line, yet below what it actually costs to live. That gap between survival on paper and survival in real life is what Chinese commentators have started calling the kill line. Once you cross it, one unexpected expense can completely collapse your life. What shocked many Chinese viewers is the scale of this group. According to US data, tens of millions of American households fall into the ALICE category, far more than those officially classified as poor. This means that in the world's largest economy, a massive portion of the population is technically not poor, yet functionally insecure. And that contradiction is exactly why this topic exploded on Chinese platforms like Bilibili, Baizhihao, and Guangcha. In China, poverty is generally understood as a state-defined condition, something the government actively measures, targets, and eliminates. Over the past decade, China has promoted the idea that once extreme poverty is lifted, the state continues to provide buffers, basic medical insurance, public housing, subsidized transportation, and community-level support. Whether people fully agree with that system or not, the concept is clear. There is an expectation that falling below a certain level triggers protection. What shocked many Chinese netizens about ALICE is that no such buffer automatically exists in the US. In fact, being slightly above the poverty line can be worse than being below it. If you're officially poor, you may qualify for food assistance, healthcare programs, housing support, or tax credits. But if you are ALICE, earning just a little more, you often qualify for nothing. No safety net, no subsidies, no margin for error. This is why Chinese commentators often compare the ALICE threshold to a video game mechanic. In games, a kill line is an invisible boundary. Cross it and your character dies instantly. Applied to real life, it means that one illness, one car breakdown, one rent increase, or one job loss can instantly destroy financial stability. And in the US, healthcare costs are often cited as the most dangerous trigger. A single emergency room visit can cost thousands of dollars, even for insured workers. From a Chinese perspective, this seems almost incomprehensible. In China, medical costs are not free, but the baseline risks is lower, especially for catastrophic events. Public insurance does not make you rich, but it usually prevents total financial collapse. That difference is at the heart of why ALICE has become a talking point in China, not as propaganda, but as a comparison. Another reason this topic resonates in China is because it challenges the idea that employment equals security. In China, there is still a strong cultural belief that having a stable job, even a modest one, provides basic protection. In the ALICE framework, work does not guarantee stability at all. Many ALICE households include teachers, nurses, childcare workers, delivery drivers, and retail staff, the very people society depends on. Chinese articles often contrast this with China's emphasis on employment combined with social protection. Even critics of China's system acknowledges that the state plays an active role in stabilizing living costs, from controlling basic utilities to regulating housing in certain cities. The US, by contrast, largely leaves this to the market. Some Western economists argue that the ALICE problem is overstated, pointing out that living standards have improved over time. Chinese commentators, however, focus less on average and more on risk exposure. The argument is simple. If millions of people are one accident away from disaster, then growth alone does not equal security. In China, that logic resonates deeply because stability, not just growth, is treated as a core policy goal. This also explains why ALICE is often framed in China as a systematic issue, not a personal failure. Chinese media discussions rarely blame individuals for poor financial choices. Instead, they focus on structural factors: healthcare costs, housing prices, education debt, and weak public support. This framing aligns closely with how China typically analyzes social risk, through systems, not individuals. Now, interestingly, some Chinese commentators have gone even further, calling China's system a kind of lock health buff, meaning you might struggle, but you are unlikely to be instantly eliminated by one shot. Whether or not one agrees with that metaphor, it highlights a key contrast. China prioritizes preventing collapse, while the US often tolerates it as part of market discipline. Ultimately, the ALICE discussion in China is not really about mocking the US. It's about questioning definitions. What does it mean to be poor? What does it mean to be secure? And should a society accept that millions of working people live permanently on the edge? For many Chinese viewers, ALICE reinforces the belief that development must be paired with protection. Otherwise, growth becomes fragile. So when Chinese netizens talk about the American kill line, they're not just describing a statistics. They're expressing shock at what a system where working hard does not guarantee safety and where falling slightly outside official definitions can leave people completely exposed. Whether you see this as a flaw of capitalism or a policy failure, one thing is clear. ALICE has become a mirror, and China is looking into it very closely.
大家好，我是主播周玉琴。很多的朋友告诉我们，太阳星全效克菲尔益生菌帮助了睡眠品质。原版的太阳星全效克菲尔益生菌，它添加有超级食物羽衣甘蓝，健康再加分。而有睡眠困扰的朋友们，赶快选择蓝色包装这一款晚安加强版，绝对是更有感。每日克菲尔，时刻美好 ，Good Feel Good。请上快点购为健康下单，而且要记得输入推荐代码，有额外的折扣优惠。太阳星全效克菲尔益生菌基础版、晚安加强版新包装改版，内容不变，抽取更方便。要吃就吃最好的。